The growing numbers of homeless school children. Their teachers call for action.
In other news, one of the UK's biggest teaching unions say teachers regularly encounter pupils who are homeless. Recent figures show 53% of teaching staff in the Midlands work with children in temporary or emergency accommodation.
The government has told ITV News that they are granting local authorities more funding to tackle the issue. Nick Smith reports.
You go the right way.
Wait, whoa!
Single mum Alicia and her 6-year-old son Eon are living day by day, constantly worrying they may be turfed out and moved on. They live in temporary accommodation due to a lack of suitable housing in the area, often battling issues with mould, unwanted noise and infestations. It's classed as a form of homelessness.
I've been in temporary accommodation since I was pregnant. It affects me day to day because as a mother, you want some stability for your child and also for yourself as well, because they both go hand in hand. In my mind, I'm like, are they going to move me somewhere else? My son's in school, just not ever knowing when it's going to happen. It just creates anxiety in me, a lot of anxiousness. If we had our own home together, how would you feel?
I would feel happy.
Yeah?
Because I just wanted to have my own room, have a little bunk bed so I can just chill. We'll just have to work through it.
Helping Hands is a community support service in Leamington Spa, providing assistance to those at risk of homelessness or in temporary accommodation, and say the issue is getting worse.
For children who are in temporary accommodation, it's really, really difficult because they are not in a normal home environment. The reasons that people are in accommodation is the rise in rents, there's no private rental, there's very little social housing to allow people to move in and have a cost-effective rent. And even if people are working, it's still really expensive for people to survive.
Figures from Shelter and the teaching union NASUWT indicate roughly half of schools have children in this situation. Their representative tells me it can have long-lasting impacts on their ability to learn and develop.
I do not have to look very far in any of my classes to find a student who is in temporary accommodation or is at risk of eviction. We have young people who are living in homes where they are sharing a bedroom with 2, 3, 4 siblings. That makes it incredibly difficult for those young people to study independently at home. We have young people whose health gets affected because they're living in unsuitable accommodation. That leads to things like asthma and other respiratory problems.
There's not enough social homes. The only way to solve homelessness for good is to invest in building a new generation of social housing. Shelter's calling on the government to build 90,000 social homes a year for the next 10 years. That's the only way we'll end the housing emergency for good.
Shelter's research have found there's around 170,000 children kind of in temporary or emergency accommodation. How are we trying to tackle this kind of issue and ensure that families are in more stable and permanent accommodation?
What we're doing as part of the homelessness strategy is, of course, it's about putting roofs over people's heads, but for children, it's about making sure they don't lose that one chance of their education. We've created a £950 million fund that will help councils get hold of better temporary accommodation, get them out of B&Bs and into a place where they've got a bit more space and where they're not having to deal with mould, cold, and other issues that affect their health as well as their education.
But for those families trapped in the limbo of temporary housing, they just try and cope as best they can, in the hope of finding somewhere more secure. Nick Smith, ITV News.